Thanks for joining. It's Dating with Katy, where we get confident, be successful, and we just have some fun dating. Come on. In today's episode, we're going to be talking fun because we're going to be talking 5 fun facts that you didn't know about me. Maybe you knew it, but you just haven't heard it yet. So either way, aside from me talking a lot, that Katy's a talker, we're going to learn some really cool stuff about my past that I think really brings a different perspective on dating, relationships, and the latter. Okay, guys. So I want to say, make sure that you subscribe, you like, give me a little love back, a little heart, and send these to a single friend that you have. I mean, we all have them. We're all in that group together. Or even an ex, if you didn't like them, send this to them. They might need to hear it. All right, guys, I want to thank Cinque.com, CINQE.com, for being our partner today. Well, let's get started. I mean, dating with Katy, who is this girl? Where did she come from? Well, aside the details of, yes, I'm a single mom. I have 3 amazing kids. Gosh, they're like adults now. How many of you have like kids to adults and you're just like, where did the time go? Because it goes fast. If you have kids, I'm telling you now, it goes fast. And people used to say that, and it's true. I do have 3 kids. I have 1 at Berkeley, 1 at UCLA, and 1 living in Europe with his father. I am all for international living, international opportunities. I am not going to tell you about some of the things I have done internationally because that's part of my story. So born and raised in Long Beach, California, blue collar family. Parents still together. They were together 45 years. They've both passed away now. I have a brother, big family, but they're getting smaller because no one's having kids anymore. So all the cousins, no one's having kids. And I'm a pro-family person. Went to school. I have a degree in sociology and Spanish. Sí, entonces yo puedo hablar español también. Tal vez, or not tal vez, aunque yo necesito practicar. See, I need to practice. And I really love my job as a matchmaker and a dating coach. And this is a little bit of the journey, and you kind of see how this came to happen, and I think that's the fun part of it. I was actually, both my parents have passed now, and we were finally going through the house, and if you've ever had to do that, it's daunting and it's a lot. But, you know, my mom was one of those who saved everything, almost maybe too much of everything. So my mom saved everything, and it's been fun to kind of go through some stuff. And cute enough, I found out, which is no surprise to me. I mean, I knew in high school I was boy crazy. I loved boys. I loved talking to boys. I loved being in love with boys. Like, there was just this thing for me that I liked boys a lot. And although I didn't really date, I didn't date anybody until the very end of my senior year, which was kind of a minimal dating. I didn't date any in college, really, and then I just got married real fast, which was great. You know, my ex-husband is great and got my 3 kids, so that's fabulous. But I just want to share, in high school, I used to write for the Press Telegram, the Long Beach paper, and I was the kid who you guys probably all hated, ASB president, cheerleader, cross-country runner, little goody-goody, just on everybody's bright side, super happy, go lucky. But I wasn't the bad girl, so I didn't have any boyfriends, and you can kind of see how that works in with who I am today. But the articles that I pulled up, and this is just 2 of quite a few, and this is dated February 9th, 1994, class of 94. Written by me. It's Do the Right Thing for Your Sweet Thing. I mean, look at that article. And I'm a woman who does not like to write. I'd much rather talk. But I mean, I've got cheesy little ideas. I've got photos. I've got stuffed animals. You guys, you got to see this. Go check out my YouTube so you can see this. Then on top of that, I see another article that I wrote. I mean, these are full page articles. It was a his and her look at the fantasy dance dream prom. I tell you, I loved this whole idea of love. I loved creating opportunities for love, making people feel good about love. And yes, here I am today. So I'm dating with Katy. I work for Cinque Matchmaking, which is our sponsor today. Check out CINQE.com if you're looking for a matchmaker or just need to get in a database. And I do coaching on the side. Make sure you check out my Instagram. Let's go to the first thing that you probably didn't know about me. Number 1. When I was 18, the summer of my 18th birthday, I auditioned to be a Disney character, and I got it. Believe it or not, to become a Disney character, and this is at the OG Disneyland, there are hundreds and hundreds of people who come to this audition. Now, I have no idea even how I remember going, or if I got invited, or if there was like a school board and it said Disney audition. I had no background. I mean, I danced a little bit. I was a cheerleader. No background in Disney. I wasn't a huge Disney fan like some people are, but I go to this audition, and the girl behind me had tattoos everywhere. Now, if you know anything about Disneyland, tattoos do not work at Disneyland. You can't even work there with tattoos. They're so picky. Red lipstick, earrings bigger than the size of a dime. I mean, they are strict. So, I mean, that could have changed by now. But Anyways, so I do this audition, hundreds and hundreds of people. I come back the next day. They put the costumes on you. You have to dance around. And then you finally get the call and you actually make it to be a Disney character. Now, the next question you're going to ask, Katy, which one were you? So I am too tall to be Mickey and Minnie Mouse. I think you have to be about 4'11", 5 foot. I'm 5'2 3/4". So that would mean that I was Chip and Dale, Roger Rabbit, Timon from the Lion King, Winnie the Pooh. Every day you're a different character in a different location. So sometimes you're at restaurants, you run around the restaurants. Sometimes you're at Toontown, which they've now taken out. So every day, different locations. Sometimes you're California Adventure. So it was just such a fun job, and it's wicked hot in those costumes. Yes, it is. You only go out for certain amounts of time according to the weather. So it's really hot. It's 15 minutes, rest for 45. And believe it or not, I mean, I've got stories and stories about it. But one time I jumped in the balls in Toontown and my head fell off, and the kids were just flabbergasted, like, oh my gosh, that's a person in there. My parents came to visit one time, and I was Chip or Dale. Do you know the difference between Chip and Dale? Chip has the chocolate chip nose. That's how you know. And I remember I was actually Roger Rabbit that day, and my dad walks up with my mom, and he was so proud of me. He's like, "That's my daughter inside. That's my daughter inside." And I was just like, "Dad, cut it. You can't be saying that stuff." So very fun job. I couldn't return to the job. Winter break of my freshman year, I was up at camp with a bunch of college friends, and the boys were throwing snowballs, more like ice balls. It hit my head, cut it open, and hence I couldn't wear the helmet anymore. So I was no longer a character and moved on from that little mini season of my life. All right, number 2. In college, I also lived in Costa Rica, pura vida. So if you are Costa Rican, if you're a tico or tica, you are my people. I did a whole school year at the University of Costa Rica. All of my classes were in Spanish. When I applied for the international exchange program through the UC system, I was denied. I tried to go to Spain, and they said, you can't speak a lick of Spanish. I remember being at the table, and they were speaking to me in Spanish, and I was just bewildered. Couldn't do it, couldn't respond. Tried again, and they must have had mercy on me and said, send this girl out. We're just going to see if she can float. So I get to Costa Rica. Spanish wasn't great. A lot of us white people, it's learned. We know it. We see it. We do it. But then the speaking is the hard part. And found myself a Costa Rican boyfriend. Always helpful. But he also had two California girls. So he was dating both of us. We figured it out eventually, and we both bailed on him. That's what you do, ladies. You bail. If you're not in a committed relationship, if you're not married, you bail. You go get a new man. And had a great time. Traveled all summer. Got my scuba diving license. Just adventurous spirit. I had a bike. I'd bike everywhere to the volcano Arenal. I'd bike to each beach. I mean, the things I did, I did bungee jumping. I got my nose pierced. And that was back in the days, you guys will remember this, where we didn't have our phones. We didn't have, my parents couldn't follow me on Snapchat, but I got to do an email once a week. Once a week, I got to do an email. And it was, you had to wait in line because everybody was waiting for the one computer. And my mom saved all the emails, and I printed them out. And they're really long and detailed of all the things I was doing. I remember I was training for a fitness show. I was doing my one-handed push-ups, and you name it, I've tried it. So I loved my season in Costa Rica. I've been back once. Great place, great people. All right, number 3, you're going to find this interesting as well. I lived 7 years in China. As a matter of fact, I raised my kids there. I moved there with my ex-husband when my current oldest was 2 years old and my daughter was 2 months old. The day we landed, I remember this very specifically. We were on a very packed freeway, and everything's concrete. The buildings are concrete. Everything's dirty. Our city was the city of Kunming. It was not elevated yet like Beijing or any of those places. And this is the year 2003, my bad. And the exhaust from the cars is black still. I mean, this is not something we see in LA. The cars are black. The air just stinks. We're stuck in this, what's called a mianbao che. It's this little minivan. It looks like a little thing of bread. Mianbao is bread. So it's a bread car is what they call it. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm letting my 2-month-old breathe this air. What kind of mother am I? But yet I wanted to follow what my husband's dream was, and that was to move to China and do work over there. So we endured for 7 years. There's some great things about it. I could do a whole other podcast on that. Great things about that. Opened a restaurant while I was there. We did a lot of great stuff while we were there for 7 years. A lot of stories, a lot of great friendships, international friendships. Hence why I truly believe getting out of your circle, Getting out of your space, getting out of your country is so important. It's important in dating. It's important in understanding cultures, understanding people, understanding yourself. I mean, and it just makes you freaking cool, right? There's how many dates? I mean, we call him Boring Doug. One of my girlfriends coined this. Boring Doug. Boring Doug has never been anywhere. And I mean, I went on a date one time with a police officer, and he's like, yeah, I've only been to Canada. Canada, that's it? I can't date a guy who's just been to Canada. I've been all over the world at this point. I've lived places. There's just a uniqueness to someone who's been traveling, who's traveled and lived abroad, that really makes them special and different than the rest of the people in the dating pool. So if that's not you, get your passport and get out there. Go by yourself. I've been to Paris by myself. I've been in multiple places by myself. You can join me at one of my Dating with Katy trips. Check it out and get out there. There's a whole world to be seen. Am I right? We're only getting older, guys. All right, well, let's do number 4. I was on, drumroll, a reality show, and it's the next Food Network star. So if you haven't seen it, you probably know Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri was on it. He was on season 2, I think. I was on season 7, and I will tell you, a reality show is just that. It's just not that. It's not reality. They want drama. They want fighting. They want to cut and edit what you said so you look like you're a nutcase, literally. I remember being told by the producers that I smile too much. And I was like, all right, and then what? Like, I'm not gonna change that. It's who I am. So we lived in a house in the Hollywood Hills. All the filming was here. You couldn't tell anybody. So actually, that was kind of a dramatic space in my life too, because I got the ultimatum from my ex: if you go on the show, I'll divorce you. But I knew we were at a point where it was time to move on, and that was just his peace trying to hold me back. But my mom says, go on the show. She wanted more from me in my life, and she wanted me to find a man that would support that. So I go on the show. We're all living in this house in the Hollywood Hills. I'd brushed my teeth. You could see the Hollywood sign. And I remember the producer saying, Katy, you're the fit mom. Can you walk around in your underwear? And I'm thinking, no way. I got 3 little kids. Nobody needs to see. I'm getting a divorce. This is the last thing I need to be doing, is prancing around in underwear at the time. And sure enough, that wasn't a big seller, because they need drama. They need cute butts. They need all of this stuff to sell, right? And then ultimately, everybody was fighting in the kitchen one night. Everybody's, cameras are above. Everyone's trying to get their words in. And this gentleman, Juba, and I, we were back on the side. And I look at him, I said, this is like junior high. I'm not going to fight over this stuff. This is not my thing. And so he and I look at each other, and we are just not down with it. It is not our thing at all. And we both got voted off on the next show. Go figure. No surprise, right? That is number 5, Food Network, season 7. You could probably Google it. They make me, I don't love how they make me out to be. But nonetheless, now you got me here. So my last thing, Disney character, lived in Costa Rica, lived in China, on Food Network. And my last thing is, how did I become a matchmaker? So this is a great story, guys. I became single mom, struggling, and I saw on TV somebody said, get in my database. And so I did. I Googled this woman's database. You should Google sync.com. Databases, get in all the databases in your city. I tell everybody, if you're not a client, the matchmaker is not going to be pursuing men for you or women for you. But if you are in their database and you're good looking and you have great pictures and you're interesting, they're going to put you on dates. So I get in online, and I'm up in this database, and then I find other ones, and I get up in their database, and I start dating for all these matchmakers, because I'm fun, I'm young, I'm happy, I'm excited to date, I'm not bitter, and that's attractive to men. So I'd go on dates and chat with these matchmakers, and I really enjoyed them. They were really interesting people. I was still great friends with so many of them. Ultimately, I go on a date for Sync Matchmaking, and my partner and I, she's phenomenal. She's now who I work with. I went on a date with this guy named Ted. Ted was great, not quite my type, a little too high energy for me. I actually like a little bit more chill, because I'm so high energy. Ted and I are still good friends to this day. We are still great friends. Ted needs to hire me, because Ted is all over the board. But that's how I became to be, and I thought I would love to be a matchmaker. So I actually just asked the head of the company at Sync, hey, is there any space to join your team? That's one thing I learned. My producer once said to me, Katy, people already think you have everything you want. You got to ask, and you got to tell. Ask them what you want and tell them what you'd like to do. I mean, what harm is in that, right? So at the end of the day, all of these things create a very unusual and unique package in Katy. And believe it or not, all of you have these things too. You just sometimes forget about it. One of the fun things I like to do with my client is called the Fun Me Bio. Now, I know a lot of you are on online apps and you are trying to write up, your 300 words on Bumble, or trying to be quirky over here on Hinge. On Match, you've got a lot of space to write something, and it's a little daunting. So one of the things I do is that I make it so fun. I created this questionnaire, you fill it out, and then I write your bio for you. And I do a short version and a long version. So whatever you're on, it's like how to present your best you without you having to do it. So if you're interested in that, you guys, it's almost like quick coaching. Go ahead and email me at datingwithkaty@gmail.com. You can always go to my website. Always reach out on a DM. We want to make sure that you are, having fun dating. You're successful and you're confident out there, you guys. So thanks again to Sync Matchmaking. If you're looking for a matchmaker, get in our database. And if you need some coaching, make sure you guys chat with me. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Happy dating.